Okay, so once again, welcome to the Quality Enhancement Plan Peer Mentoring Orientation. My name is Kim Bevington, and I'm the Quality Enhancement Plan Academic Success Center Supervisor with South University Online Programs. Just to give a quick program overview, so as a peer mentor, the idea is new students are paired with a current student in their chosen academic program. Peer mentors can be assigned up to 10 students to mentor depending on the program and the demand. Of course, it's completely up to you as how many you would like to be assigned. This program is designed to build relationships between current and new students. It gives new students, the peer mentors give new students advice and tips from someone who has been there and done that within their program. It also allows new students to have a more relaxed relationship with someone other than a graduation team member and allows for more candid conversations. Again, if you have questions at all throughout the presentation, feel free to ask them in the questions box. I'll address them as they come, and I'll also give time for questions at the end of the program. So what are the benefits to a peer mentor? It will help to improve communication and your personal skills. It will develop leadership and management qualities. It will reinforce your own study skills and knowledge of your subjects. It will increase your confidence and motivation. It will help you engage in a volunteering opportunity valued by employers. It will enhance your own CV or curriculum vitae or resume. It will increase your circle of friends here at South University Online. And it will help you gain recognition of your own skills and experience. And you'll gain benefit from a sense of fulfillment and personal growth. What question just came in? What are we to do when we have a mentee that gives no feedback? You can, if that situation happens, you can always follow up with me. Moving forward, once the program starts and you get assigned a mentee, we plan to have weekly meetings in the, I don't know if any of you have been to the virtual coffee shop in Connections yet, but that will kind of be our hub for the peer mentoring program. So if you're not able to individually get mentees to interact, maybe we can get them you know, interacting and engaging in that forum. But we'll be meeting as a group, hopefully, in that coffee shop so that we can discuss issues like that. What is a peer mentor? So a peer mentor is a friend, a coach, and a guide. So as a peer mentor, you're going to act as a sounding board to your assigned mentee. You'll assist with basic issues that students face. You'll also be pointing students in the right direction for more complicated issues, and we'll talk more about that. A peer mentor is not an academic advisor, an instructor, or a therapist. So you're not accountable for course decisions or enrollment. You have no impact on grades, on any student's grades. And mentors should never counsel students on personal issues. So what are some examples of scenarios that you would want to assist with and scenarios that you would want to refer to other resources? Let's say a student asks you about how to set up your schedule, if it's up to the student to set up the schedule or if it's up to the advisor to set up the schedule. You can kind of give some guidance in that area. You always want to speak from the perspective of a student. So your perspective, your experience as a student, not on South University's behalf. You cannot speak on South University's behalf. You can only speak on your behalf as a student experience. If a student reveals to you that they have a disability, you would never, you know, want to guide or counsel that student in that area. You would want to guide them or refer them back to their academic counselor or to disability services. We have a couple more questions that came in. How many times a week do we need to go into the coffee shop? That's completely up to you. There's not going to be a requirement. I hope to have scheduled meetings, but they're not going to be required to attend. If you have the availability and the time to show up just to check in, that's fine. And if not, you and I will find time to communicate otherwise if that particular time doesn't work out for you. Another question, I have never been to the coffee shop. How do I find it? So if you are on your home page of Campus Common, right at the top area, you should see a section that says Connections. You'll see a girl with her hands folded with long hair. If you click on that banner, on that image, it will take you to Connections. And if you've never been in there before, the first thing you'll do is set up an account. Once you set up an account, you'll see a chat box on the front page, and then at the top there's a couple of tabs. One's a departments tab and one's an organizations tab. These are all groups that you all can get involved in with also, but all groups that you would want to refer your mentees to get involved in. But under the departments tab, the last one down, you'll see virtual coffee shop. And you can click on there. That one also has a virtual chat box in it. And if you click Join Group, then you'll become a member of that coffee shop. If we have time afterwards, I can probably show you on my screen how to get there if you're not able to find it. Okay, what makes a good peer mentor? Listening. Sometimes it's better to listen than to speak. So you always want to give your mentees your full attention if you have time. Guidance, helping your mentees find direction, never to push them. Of course, you want to be practical, providing insights about keeping on task and setting goals and priorities. Experience, using personal experiences to help your mentees avoid mistakes and learn from good decisions. You want to be accessible, available as a resource and a sounding board. And caring, of course, caring about the mentees' progress in school as well as their personal development and foster success in others. So as you know, coming into an online environment, either you may have had previous experience as an online student or maybe you didn't. But there's many students that start into online schooling that have never been exposed to this type of environment. So they're going to look to, students that have had a couple of classes already that have adjusted to setting up a schedule and being disciplined to put in the amount of time that they need to be successful in class. So they're going to be looking to you all to help them in setting up those types of things, schedules and the discipline, the committed time that it takes to study and work on their assignments. Okay, peer mentors' responsibilities. So every week for a 5-week session, which your classes are typically 5 weeks long, so every week you'll receive an email from me with a pre-written, pre-designed email in it that you're going to send to your mentee. And with that email, there's going to be an attachment which will be along the lines of time management skills, study techniques, stress management techniques, those types of things. So every week, once a week for a 5-week session, I'll send you an email and you will forward that email to your mentee. Any communication outside of that pre-designed email that I'm sending to you is completely up to you and your mentee. You can stick to this designed plan, or if your mentee reaches out to you and asks you a separate question, that's up to you too if you want to communicate outside of the pre-designed emails. Okay, you'll be responding to emails from mentees. There's a monthly mentoring activity log just to track your progress with your mentees. We'll either do an activity log or a check-in call with myself just to see how things are going. We'll meet at least once per month with the mentor program coordinator, which is what I just said. If we don't do the activity log, you and I will just follow up to see how things are going. And participate in one discussion forum per week. And that, again, is going to be on the virtual coffee shop, and it will be at your convenience. If you're able to make it, that's great. If not, I'll follow up with you separately. Any questions at this point? Topics to discuss that you'll be discussing with your mentee. Academic success, of course. Test-taking tips, proper study habits, study techniques, time management, balance between classes and personal life. And again, a lot of times it's just the support. You know, if any of you are a student coming in when you started and didn't know anybody else that was at South University as far as students-wise, or maybe you didn't have family members that have ever attended college or have never attended an online environment, you know yourself that it would be nice just to have one or two people that you can reach out to that are your peers that are experiencing the same things that you're experiencing. And I think that helps to motivate and keep students encouraged. Co-curricular happenings at South University Online. We have a number of events every quarter that happen in a webinar type environment that you can log into and participate in. We encourage you to. So you'll be directing students, you know, we encourage you to attend them, but you should know where they are and how to find them in case your mentee is looking for something else to be involved in. Resources that are available to students, you should be able to speak to the tutoring center, the counseling services, and the library at least to be able to direct students where they are. If you ever come across a question or student that you don't know the answer to, feel free to reach out to myself, or even your academic counselor should be able to help you answer that question. Questions about courses and instructors, the class workload, the registration and attendance process, and how to interact with instructors. I'm sure you all have had some experience with interacting with different instructors, and we know that every instructor is going to be different. So I think that's that's coming from you to be able to tell a newer student that to keep in mind that every instructor it's not cookie cutter instructors. Everybody has different teaching methods. So to be able to adjust to change is a good characteristic to be able to adapt. And then the class workload, you'll also be able to speak to that. How are the assignments set up? How often are the assignments? What are the due dates like? That type of thing. Now, how does this benefit you as far as your own resume goes? So this is an example of how you would include peer mentor skills on your resume. Co-curricular activities may be the heading, peer mentor would be the title, and then of course South University Online programs, how long you were involved in the program, and then the type of activities that you were engaged in with helping with your peer mentor. So if you are looking to develop these types of skills, maybe you don't have a real strong work experience, you can show that you were engaged in, involved in some type of leadership activity while you were here at South University. Professionalism. As a peer mentor and student of South University Online programs, you're always expected to adhere to the Student Code of Conduct and the Connections Terms of Use policy. Participation as a peer mentor is completely voluntary and requires participants to maintain a high standard of professionalism by doing the following. You always want to use proper grammar, punctuation, and spelling when posting in Connections, the peer mentoring group site. You want to foster a positive environment within the group and supporting and engaging your peers at all times, responding to emails and phone calls in a timely manner, and demonstrating leadership skills. So you want to remember the positive side of things and the If you're talking with a student and they're having an issue with an instructor, try to find the positive side of things. Encourage them to, look at the message that the instructor is delivering. Remind them that they'll always run into different personalities, that type of thing, to not let that stop them in their track, but instead to find a way to work around it and through it. Confidentiality. Peer mentors are expected to maintain strict confidentiality. Anything your mentee discusses with you is to be considered private unless otherwise mentioned. The only exceptions to this are situations in which a student identifies that he or she may be a threat to him or herself or to others. In these circumstances, please go directly to myself or your own academic counselor for assistance. Okay, time commitment. Participation as a peer mentor in the QEP mentoring program is completely voluntary. All members are expected to maintain passing course grades and coursework. Should always be a peer mentor's first priority. Typically, a peer mentor can plan to spend at least 1 hour a week participating in the mentoring program. So again, the only expectations is the email that I'll be sending you that you'll be forwarding on to another, to your mentee. If your mentee has questions, if it gets to be to where it's consuming too much of your time, let me know and we'll direct the mentee back to their academic counselor who has that's their responsibility to devote that time to that student. If there's ever any issues or concerns, definitely report back to me. Important steps. So you want to set goals for your mentoring relationship. Practice your listening skills. Encourage mentees to engage by asking open-ended questions. Have realistic expectations for your mentoring relationship. Help your mentee to work toward their goals without pushing your goals on them. Positive attitude. Always have a positive attitude. Encourage your mentee to approach life and goals with enthusiasm. Focus on mentee's strengths and potentials rather than their limitations. And assist the mentee in developing self-confidence. Okay, we have a question. How do we turn things around when someone tells you about their life history? As far as if they're kind of dragging things out, one thing that I was taught one time is just to blatantly ask the question, how can I help you today? What is it that you're looking for from me today? Sometimes those conversations are hard to have, especially if they're taking up a lot of your time. So you want to just be honest and tell them that you have other things that you have to tend to, and if there's any question that you can answer for them right now and today, how can you help them? And kind of try to cut it a little short. The person that asked that question, did you have that experience previously in a situation or a mentor? I'll let you type that answer out while I move forward a little bit. So goals. To communicate a minimum of once a week, find out what goals the mentee is hoping to meet. So you both want to be able to get something out of the relationship, but what goals particularly is that mentee looking for with the relationship from you? Plan to review your goals in the peer mentoring meeting. So when we meet, what goals will you have set up for your relationship in that 5-week span that you plan to meet with your mentee? And always remember that you are the mentor. You are to encourage the mentee to develop and meet goals. Suggest mentees participate in events. So like I stated, the co-curricular events, and you can find those on your student events calendar, which is also found on Campus Common. The links are right on the calendar also that you can register right to the event from that those events calendars. And then you also want to focus on strengths and developing their self-confidence. Okay, helpful tips for peer mentors. Always speak from your own experience and be sure the mentee knows all students may not experience the same as you. So again, you're speaking from your own experience as a student, and that, again, just like we said, that instructors aren't cookie cutter, neither are student experiences. So make sure your mentee understands that just because you had a certain experience with an instructor doesn't mean they're going to have the same experience with that instructor. You want to develop a schedule that works best for you and your mentee if you're planning on meeting outside of or speaking outside of those pre-designed emails. What I would suggest that you recommend to your mentee is if they're wanting to engage outside of those pre-designed emails is refer them to the coffee shop and let it be a open conversation, unless of course it's something personal that they need to speak with you know, their advisor or something about. A lot of times if they post something in that coffee shop, many other students may have the same question, or there are other students in there that may have experienced what the mentee is questioning. Remember that you are the mentee's peer. Remind the mentee of this, and encourage the mentee to get involved, again, in co-curricular events and organizations and departments on the connections page. I think that as a as a college student, what you can get involved in outside of your classroom makes your experience that much more enjoyable and valuable. So it's important that, we are in an online environment, so we do offer co-curricular events, webinars that are online. We have different group organizations. We have honor societies, all types of different events and groups that students can get involved in. So become familiar with that connections page, and if you have any questions, you can ask me about them. We're going to be having a student activities night coming up in September where I'll be reviewing all of the different organizations and groups and activities that are available to students, and that's already posted on the student events calendar, so you can go ahead and sign up for that now if you want to attend that. Let's see, we have a couple other questions. Somebody says, well, I'm a talker and I like to give advice on each and everything. When I started with South, my most important thing was to talk to someone that would listen to me about all of my frustrations. I would tell everything, meaning my personal life and all of that. I know it made things better for me to just be able to let go. I still remember all of my advisors that just listened. The one I have now, I don't have a personal level with them because she just does not seem to care like the others did. If you're the mentor and you're experiencing that and it gets uncomfortable for you or it gets too time-consuming for you, again, you want to remind them that you are their peer and that this is, probably a conversation that they need to go to their advisor with. If you're comfortable with listening to that and you have the time, again, that's your choice if you choose to do that. I know everybody deals with those types of situations differently, and we want you to have a valuable experience with this also. This is a new program, so if you're involved, you'll definitely be helping to develop this program, and I want it to be a positive experience for everybody involved. Another question is, will there be something in the initial email that is sent that asks the mentee what they're looking for in a mentor or what their needs are, for the mentor to have an idea of what direction to go with encouragement and other things? I can read you the first week's email. So the first week's email says, welcome to South University. You have been selected to participate in the South University Mentoring Program. And it puts your name, I am Kim, your peer mentor. I'm in the such and such a program and will be graduating in such and such a year. Throughout this quarter, I will be contacting you to check on your progress and offer tips about succeeding in college. I was a new student once, so I know exactly how you're feeling. I'm here to help in any way that I can. During the quarter, you'll hear from me every week. Maybe we can even meet in person to catch up and see how things are going. Perhaps insert information about a scheduled Meet Your Mentor event. I look forward to speaking with you and helping you over the course of this quarter. If you need anything, please reach out to me via email. So the sentence where it says, maybe we can personally meet, that's if you happen to have a mentee that lives in your general area, in your, close to where you live. Again, it's completely up to you. Maybe you start a study group at the local Starbucks or something like that. That's no requirement, no expectation to do that, but by the end of the program, people are wanting to meet at graduation, and there's no reason why they couldn't meet if they live in a general vicinity of each other, if both parties are interested in doing something like that. I'm in public relations. Where do I recommend people I may mentor to go if they want to be more involved in other groups? I'll show you, as soon as we're done with this PowerPoint, I'll show you the Student Connection site and the different groups that are available there. Do we need to give out phone numbers? No, the only thing that, if you want to move forward with being a peer mentor, I'll send you a release form which allows me to give your name and your email address only to the mentee. And the mentee will sign the same form, allowing me to release their name and their email to you. And that's the only information that will be exchanged. And you want both the mentor and mentee will recognize that we will not release each of your academic information to each other. So if your mentee calls in and said, Jane got an A in psychology 1001 and she's my mentor and I have a C, I want to know why, we will not speak to your records and your account if your mentee calls in, and you're both under the understanding of that before you start into the program. For those of us who have already signed the release form, do we need to sign another one? No, you don't. If this is your second time going through this information session, I have your form on file and you do not need to re-sign that. Okay. Move on here. When to ask for help. If there's any questions that are specific to mentees' classes, they should be referred to the instructor. So if a mentee has a concern on the way an assignment was graded, of course they can have that conversation with you if they choose to, but you can't make any decisions based on their grades, so the instructor is the one that needs to address that issue or concern with the student. Any questions specific to attendance, grades, financial aid, or schedule should be referred to the graduation team. So if there's a question that involves their grades or their attendance or financial aid, make sure that you're referring them back to their academic counselor or to their financial advisor. Another question is, where do we get the release forms? I'll follow up with each of you after this presentation, and if you're interested in moving forward and getting involved in the mentoring program, I'll send you the release form and you can sign it and send it back to me. And just know that I'm hoping to be able to invite students for the classes starting 8/25 to be mentees. It doesn't mean we'll get enough students to assign them to all of you. I'm trying to develop mentors now to have you on hand so that as we get students that are looking for a mentor, you'll be readily prepared to help those students. And I'm trying to, of course, cover all programs. So if we get a student in public relations or in business management, I'll have a mentor ready that is willing to take on a mentee. Okay, and then of course any concerns or issues should be brought to my attention. Never hesitate to reach out to me if there's something that you don't know how to answer or that you're worried about. If you have never been on to Connections before, on your, like I stated before, on your campus common, you'll see the Connections label with the girl with the long brown hair. If you click on there, it will then ask you to set up a profile or an account. Once you do that the first time, you'll just be able to go directly in there. What if we have a mentee that becomes angry or verbally abusive towards the mentor? And that's when I'll step in, or your academic counselor can step in. Something like that, come directly to me, because the academic counselor isn't heavily involved in the mentoring program. So at that point, we'll discontinue the conversation between the two of you. What happens when a mentee does not feel comfortable with their graduation team? How does the mentor address the issues? That's a good question. If you come across that situation, just follow up with me, because it'll probably need to be a case-by-case basis. And I can, I'll have it addressed or get an answer for you at that time. Okay, next steps. Upon completion of the peer mentoring orientation training, you'll receive a follow-up email from me or a phone call. Please follow the directions in the email to finish the peer mentoring orientation requirements. When you complete the orientation requirements, you'll receive your peer mentoring badge in Connections. So once you set up your profile in Connections, I'll be able to give you a peer mentoring badge that shows that you are a peer mentor. That may take up to 5 business days. And you'll also be appointed as a moderator of the QEP mentoring group. So you'll be able to post blogs and that type of thing. Of course, you always want to maintain professionalism and positivity. And in the peer mentoring group, we want to try to stay, we want to try to include a lot of career-focused blogging. If you're, you know, if you're the type of person that likes to post blogs, anything related to different types of careers, anything that you post as a blog will be reviewed to be approved to be posted. Okay, any other questions at this time? Okay, I'm going to see if I can go to the Connections site to show you. So right here is the Connections site, how you would get to the Connections site where it says Connections and you have the girl with the long brown hair. If you click in here, it will come up with a, if you're a first-time user, it'll come up with a login screen where it'll want you to log in. But this main screen, we're having an issue with the Internet Explorer browser. Let me go in a different way. If you have this issue where you don't get, the content doesn't show up in the chat box here, it may be your version of Internet Explorer or the browser that you're using. So try Firefox or Chrome, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. But I'm going to go in a different way just so I can show you. what it looks like once you get logged in. So this is what you'll see. Here's the chat box, and you can add comments. You'll see quite often in here brand new students that are coming in. It'll say, I just started at South University. I don't know anybody. I'm from Illinois or something like that. And you can feel free to welcome them. Just make them feel at home here in the chat box. Up here you'll see the Departments tab and the Organizations tab. That's where you're going to find all those different groups that I was telling you about. Anytime anybody posts something new underneath these different tabs, you should see them post here. I posted under the coffee shop earlier about one of our events that's going to be happening, and you can see where it popped up here. So you can click right on that to go to what it is I posted, or you can go through these tabs up here. So if you go to the Departments tab, these are where the different groups are. So anything academically related, if you're in the business program, criminal justice program, nursing program, you can join each of those groups. Strategies for success. If you're having issues with your APA writing style, or if you know your mentee is, you can refer them to this group. All these different groups are here, psychology. And then the very last one is the virtual coffee shop. So if you click on that one, this is where I was saying we were hoping to have our weekly meetings. Even if you're not able to meet at a regular time, you can come in here and just say, checking in this week, no issues with my mentee. If you are having an issue, don't post it publicly here, but report back to me through email or give me a call and we can discuss it. But just so we can kind of support each other as mentors also. And then in the blogs, I like to post different events that are happening. So this one that's coming up is, why does South University have a College of Theology? Maybe there's a student just starting into the programs that's in their first couple of gen eds and they're not sure what direction they want to go in. You never know. Maybe one day they want to go for their Doctor of Ministry. So they might want to attend that event. We had one on professional communication in the workplace. That would be a good one for everybody to go to. So you can keep an eye out here for different events that are happening, and again also on the student events calendar. I just try to keep things lighthearted in here so that it's a positive environment for people to come and meet different other students. And we have a question. The time frame that we have a mentee, is it just for a 5-week period, meaning once the 5 weeks are up and the mentee no longer our mentee? That's completely up to you. Right now there's not a developed program past the 5 weeks. So the hope is that the two of you will form a mentor-mentee relationship to continue that relationship on. But it's, it might be the mentee reaching out to you once during their next 5-week session saying, hey, did you have this class yet? What did you think of it? I'm having problems with this particular issue. Do you have any good suggestions on how to do this sort of math problem? Or, hey, how's things going? What's your next class? Just kind of a support system throughout the rest of your program. And that, of course, the hope is that you'll find that the two of you are planning to meet at graduation because you supported each other really throughout the rest of the program. Okay, so we have the different departments here that you can join. And then here under organizations is where we have all of the different honor societies that you can join. If you're a veteran, we're trying to encourage involvement in this group, the Student Veterans of America group. We have new students can join this group. If you're a writer, there's a couple of different ones for writers. If you're in the paralegal program, there's the National Association of Legal Assistants, the National Technical Honor Society, a Sociology Club. This one's the information technology majors. This one's a neat one, the all online volunteers. There's a meeting coming up the end of September for this one. But if you're looking for opportunities to get involved in volunteering online, you might want to join that meeting. And that one's also posted on the student events calendar. So there's a number of different, if you're in criminal justice, and then these are 2 pages, so you can click to continue on to the next page. Delta Mu Delta is the business program, Lambda Epsilon Chi. And then the lounge is where you can start your own groups. So if there's not something that's specific to you under these 2 tabs, you can kind of develop your own group under the lounge and encourage membership. And almost anybody can find something in here that they're interested in. Under connection or connect on this side is where you can search for students. So it's kind of just like Facebook. If you're looking for a student that's in your current class, or if you want to become friends with a faculty member, you would search that person's name in here and click Add a Friend, and you'll start to develop your friends section. Just one more thing under, I'm not sure if you're all aware of where the student events calendar is. If you come back to your home page on Campus Common under Campus Life and then Events is where you'll see the student calendar and the different activities that are happening. Like right here is tonight's peer mentoring information session. September is why does South University have a College of Theology? Here's our student activities night I was telling you about. September 26th is our online volunteer student group meeting. If anybody's in the Allied Health Sciences program or in the BSN program, they might be interested in this one. It's the day in the life of a DNP. So if anybody has, goals and dreams of going on to be a DNP, this might be a good one for them. So it's always good just to check this on a regular basis and see what events are going on for both yourself and for your mentee. Says, I do not see a group for public relations. How would I recommend a group to a mentee who may major? Let's follow up and talk about that individually. I'm not sure. I have to research through the groups and see which one would be specific or helpful to a public relations major. It might be the business groups, but we can talk further. And if we're not able to find one, we can definitely create one or come up with one that would be beneficial for your specific area. Any other questions? Well, I hope this was beneficial for all of you. Again, it was recorded, so if you came in late or weren't able to make it, this will be recorded and sent out to everybody that registered for this event. If you have any other questions, feel free to follow up with me, but I'll definitely be reaching out to each of you to see what your thoughts were and see if you would like to pursue the mentoring program. Again, I encourage you to at least get into the coffee shop for your own benefit. Click on join group so that you become a member of that particular area. And if nothing else, just participate in the chat areas to help support your fellow peers. Thanks again for coming. I'm going to end the recording now and end this event. And I look forward to working with you all moving forward. Have a good evening.